conference with Auburn head football coach Bryan Harsin. Just a few things before we get started. We're going to focus today our attention on National Signing Day. I know that you have some other questions you'd like to ask Coach. He can answer those tomorrow at the Birmingham press conference, which will be held at 3:30 p.m. at the Sheridan in downtown Birmingham. If you need any other questions about tomorrow, you can ask those of me afterwards. We'll let Coach make a few opening comments and then take your questions. If you have a question, please indicate in the chat portion of the Zoom. This time we'll turn it over to Coach.
All right, thank you. Yeah, great day for Auburn. Excited about the class we signed. And I want to start off and just thank all the people that were involved in making this happen. Our recruiting staff, coaches, everyone that helps out in our recruiting weekends, and our players were a big part of this as well. So there's a lot of people that make this happen. And then to our players and their families for believing in us and coming here, visiting, spending time with us, and then also having the chance to be in their homes and build the relationships so we can have a day like this. We had 16 signees. 8 are going to be mid-year enrollees. We have 7 captains in this group. The average GPA of our signees is 3.3. We signed 7 offensive players, 3 wide receivers, 1 quarterback, 1 running back, 1 tight end, and 1 O-line. On defense, we signed 8, 3 cornerbacks, 2 safeties, 2 linebackers, and 1 D-line. And, our specialist, we had 1. And so that gives us our 16. From a breakdown of state, we had 5 from Alabama, 4 from Georgia, 2 from Florida, 2 from Louisiana, 1 from California, 1 from Nebraska, and 1 from Texas so far. And recruiting never ends. We certainly are excited about this class, and we have another signing period that we'll continue to work towards that as we prepare for our bowl game and practice. But overall, great day. I thought the environment we set up in here, we did a fantastic job with that. We wanted to have some fun, make it special, because this really is the Super Bowl of recruiting. And I thought we did that today. We made it a special day, and certainly are continuing that right now. So I'm looking forward to answering questions on these players and anything you have from that standpoint. So we'll start with questions.
First question comes from Michael Gittens.
Given that this is your first full recruiting cycle, I don't know if you know, but this is actually, you guys have the first flip from Alabama since 2014, Woodard. Can you talk about what the winning message was in recruiting and what really resonated with recruits that made them want to sign? And can you also talk about Trevon Reed and the job he did for you guys in recruiting this offseason?
Yeah. Well, first of all, our entire focus and purpose in recruiting was just to bring in the right people. That was number one. Character matters, hard workers, guys that were going to compete, and guys that were winners. We have a lot of guys behind me that were in very successful programs. So they're high school coaches, and the people that they've worked with, there's a lot of success. And so that was an important factor as well. The families, the relationships. Like you mentioned, this was the first chance we really had to get out and see families and players face to face when they're not here in our facility. And I think that makes a huge difference. It's a continuation of just making sure we're building a relationship and an understanding of what the expectations are from both sides. And everybody on the staff, did a great job in helping make that happen. Trevon, guys that have been a part of this program, Zach Etheridge, Cadillac, Kendall Simmons. I mean, there's more Auburn men in our program than that. And, one of the benefits of that is they're able to talk about their experience here at Auburn. They're able to talk about the Auburn family. They're able to share, some of their experiences so they can answer questions, because they've been through it. And, Trevon is a guy, high energy, believes in Auburn, and he's a people person, and so those things all showed up. But so are many other coaches on our staff as well. And everybody on this staff did a great job of connecting, building those relationships and making sure that, we're getting the questions answered, but we're also, we're talking to the right people, and we're talking to the guys that want to be a part of what we're doing. And I believe every guy on that board loves Auburn. Every guy's excited about their opportunity to come in here and be a part of what we're building and to be a part of this program. And, those are things that we were looking for. So to have a chance to get out there and do that and to be a part of it, it was fast paced. There was a lot going on. There was a lot of organization to make all these things happen. And so our staff did a tremendous job of making that possible. And then just the enjoyment of getting in front of these signees here and having a chance to continue to share the vision and know that they're going to be a big part of the future of our program. And I think every guy that's with us right now understands that. And I think that's the exciting piece for every one of those guys. And certainly everybody did a great job making that happen.
Justin Wilkinson.
I'm sure that this year has been wild, just kind of getting up to speed on recruiting in the SEC. I mean, it's definitely a different animal, I think we can say. What are some of the things that you think you've learned that have surprised you? Maybe things that haven't surprised you of just recruiting in this landscape?
Yeah, I think you could probably say that about every conference. It's different, everywhere you are. And certainly in the SEC, like I've said before, recruiting is the most important thing because it's about people and it's about having the right people in your program. But I've never felt differently about that. I've always felt like that's the most important thing. You win with people, and that part of it has never changed. As far as us getting a chance to share our message and having players and families on campus and to see this environment, one of the big reasons why I think a lot of guys were excited about our program is because they got to be in our game day atmosphere. They got to be around what it's like to be a part of this program. And so our fan base, our game day atmosphere, it's tremendous. And everybody sees that. And I really believe that. That's something that I got a chance to witness firsthand is how awesome it is to play in Jordan-Hare Stadium. And as a player, how could you not want to be a part of that? So that was a big reason for a lot of these guys to want to come here and be a part of what we're doing, and then just sharing the vision with guys. And I think, for us, it's always about just Auburn. It's about, how do you fit? What's the vision? What are things that we feel like you're capable of doing in this program? What are the opportunities? Those type of things. And we don't try to spend a whole lot of time on anyone else other than ourselves. We just try to focus on Auburn as much as we can. And so really that message hasn't changed. I've always believed that. As far as just, the competition in recruiting, that's everywhere. And, it's one thing in the SEC that, you're competing and you're making sure that, you're genuine, you're authentic, and you're going to be, who you say you are when guys show up here, and so the expectations are really important that everyone understands that and the standards, because I think as a player and even as a parent, that's all you really want to know. You just want to know that, hey, when I get there, these things are going to be in front of me. I'm going to go work for it. Nothing's going to be given. Everything's going to be earned. That's all you ask for. And that's really all that anybody wants. It means so much more when you have to earn it. If somebody gives you something, that doesn't mean as much. When you earn it, all right, you put in the work. And, that's part of our creed. Work, hard work. That's something that if that doesn't resonate with you, this isn't the place. And every one of these guys, they're all about that. And so to me, it was more we just had to be who we are, share our message. And, other programs have their way of doing things. We have ours, and that's really all we're focused on. And what I love about what our staff did and the players that are a part of our program now, that's all they focused on. They didn't worry about all the other distractions. They just wanted to know that, hey, here's the things that are important to me. Here's the things that are important to us. All right, those married up, and now we have 16 new players that are going to be a part of our program, and more to come. And to me, that's the most important thing. So, Auburn's a special place. And, we want guys here that love Auburn, love football, want to be a part of what we're building and want to be a part of this program. I think the new facility and the excitement about being able to do something for the first time, because these signees and everybody here that's at Auburn has a chance to literally move into a new facility and make it our own. That's pretty cool. You don't get to do that very many places. So to me, the mindset of the guys coming in here, that's what they want to be a part of. And so it just tells you really everything you need to know about them. Like, we want to be a part of something like that. We want to come in there and we want to help build it, which means you got great team players. Makes you feel like that locker room, you're going to be in great shape when you get in that locker room, and it's going to translate onto the field. And you're going to have great people walking around campus that are a part of your football program representing Auburn University in a first-class way. So to me, that was the most important thing in what I learned.
Jordan Hill.
Bryan, just looking at the guys you signed today, it seemed like the secondary was a priority. Just talk a little bit about that need and how you feel like these guys can help fill it.
Well, there's a lot of needs, but certainly in secondary. I mean, we lost a very good player, Roger McCreary. I mean, look at what he did this last year. And to speak on Roger a little bit, he came back. I know when we took the job, he had opportunities to move on and felt like he could come back and wanted to be a part of what we're doing, could develop himself into a better player, and look at what he's done. And so I think Coach Mason, Coach Etheridge, our defensive staff did a great job of making sure that we were developing our players now, but also that shows up in the type of players that we have now that want to be a part of our program. And the O-line and D-line are always going to be the focus, right? You want to start up front, and everybody says that. But you got to be able to cover. You got to have guys in the skill positions in the back end. You got to have guys that not only are playing DB but are also returners. In the kick game, you got punt returners, kick returners. You got guys that have touched the ball, explosive players, and then just great football players and guys that understand the game and guys are going to come in here and prepare themselves. They're going to be note takers. They're going to be guys that are focused. And I'd say it about this entire group. You feel like when you get into the meeting room, these guys are going to pull out the notebook and the pens, and they're going to take notes. They're going to learn, study, be detailed, and that's going to translate onto the field. And our defensive staff, if you're talking about the DBs in particular, they did a great job of finding those guys that are going to fit what we're trying to do. And on the other side, the wide receivers, that was another area where we signed multiple players, and no different. Winners, competitors, guys that are going to be here that are going to come in and help us, and have an opportunity, to come in here and contribute to what we're doing.
Tom Green.
Hey, Bryan, you touched on, some of these former Auburn guys who really helped in recruiting, but with Trevon specifically, just how valuable was it to be able to have him on the road and do some of these in-home visits the last couple of weeks? And what went into the decision to kind of elevate him to that role when you had that opening?
Well, because we had an opening, and you can do that. So that's something within the rules that we're able to do. And so why not go in there with everybody available that can go in and help? And Trevon, like I said, Trevon provides an experience that he's played here. He's from Louisiana. He came to Auburn, and he had a great experience here, and he can talk on that. And I think sometimes that story in itself means more than anything. Just to hear the story, just to hear the experience. He went through the process that these guys just went through. He's been there. He was a very good player coming out of high school and had a wonderful experience while he was here, and believes in Auburn, loves Auburn. And but I'll say this too. I mean, the other coaches, whether you played here or not, you understand from being here during the season and being a part of this program what Auburn means. And so I really felt like our entire staff got a chance to share that in their own way, their own experience. And I thought that was a huge opportunity for us to get out there in homes and to have people on campus so that we could share that with these players. And every one of our staff did a great job with that.
Bill Cameron.
You mentioned how important offensive and defensive linemen are, and you just signed one of each. On the offensive side, with E.J. Harris, the only signee, I believe, looking at the roster, you've only got about 8 underclassmen who could return. So how many more do you want or need to bring in either through the portal or in the next signing period?
Yeah, there'll be and that's a little bit of a work in progress. There's numbers, but there's also things that on our football team that we're also working through in a good way. And so as we get on the other side of this class, we'll go back and reevaluate our D-line and our O-line. And we do have some young players in those areas too, and they're developing, guys that nobody knows about. They're on our team, but they haven't seen them play. And so those guys are improving. They're getting better. And we're getting a chance to watch those guys more in these bowl practices. That's the beauty of the bowl game. It gives you a chance to have more practices before you go play, to get other guys in there, to see those guys compete, to see where we are. And, so there's some of that as we go into the second signing period. That's a factor. But we'll end up signing a couple more players at each position. And whether that's portal, high school, to be determined. And I think, the high school players, it's really important that we stay focused on them. It's really important that we continue to build those relationships with those coaches and those players. And then, the portal itself, it's still got to be the right fit at the end of the day. So you still have to go through a process. It happens faster. You don't have the same year and a half, 2 years, maybe of a relationship unless, you knew somebody prior to that, that you recruited. But a lot of times that's not the case. So it's just a matter of, still finding the right fit. Bowl practices give you an awesome opportunity to really see some of your young players that didn't play during the season to go out there and compete. And, I think that's something that helps you determine where you need to go.
Brian Matthews.
Yes, Brian. The finish you guys had, 2 on Monday, 2 more Tuesday, 3 more new additions today. How much energy, momentum does that bring to your program? And how much can it help? And when you finish out this class, you can tell the other guys that, you got a top 15 class, maybe even a top 10 if you finish out even more.
Yeah, we'll see how all that plays out. As far as the energy goes, that's exactly what you hope will happen. You build momentum. That's really what we did. We built momentum. And we did that because of the players making the decisions to come to Auburn. And that's part of it too. I mean, one of the things that I know is important to players, they want to play with other good players. They want to be around great teammates. They want to be around guys that care as much as they do about their success. So that was a big part of, I think, moving forward of why we had the momentum, is those guys made those decisions, and obviously we were able to benefit from it. And then other guys were, I want to be a part of that. And they had to make choices. In recruiting, some of these guys, they've been recruited for 2 years, 3 years. And when you make that decision, it ends. And so that's been a lifestyle for a while. And now it's time to really move on to your development, is what it is. I think some guys, that's what I love about it. It's just like, I'm done. I'm ready. I'm ready to work on me. I'm ready to work on my development. I'm ready to get in the playbook. I'm ready to get started. And really, I mean, that to me is the key to success. All right. When you're spending your time developing yourself, when you're spending your time on, being around a positive environment where that's happening and you get a chance to be a part of it, that's really what every person wants, is just to be a part of something bigger than themselves and to be a part of, an environment where improvement's being made day after day, and then to spend time on their own personal growth. And when you make that decision, that's what this allows you to do. So our momentum was built off players making those decisions, because it's a life-changing decision. It's a big moment for those guys. I'm proud of each and every one of them. Feel like we have a great relationship with every guy that's in this class right now. And then the future players that we're going to have a chance to share our story and our vision are going to see the guys that are a part of this. And they're going to know, well, that's what I want to be a part of. I want to play with that guy. I want to be on this guy's team. And, hopefully that momentum continues. But again, it's about, these players, their families, and our staff, and the connection that we built. in order to make this happen. And that's going to be no different as we move forward and bring in this next group of players that are going to be a part of this class when it's all said and done.
Tobias Wilborn.
Hey, Brian, nice tie, man. Very sharp.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Respect. I see you.
Yeah.
From there, what does it mean to you? You got two guys from Auburn High. You had the previous that program hadn't had anybody from Auburn High since 2009. What does that mean to really lock down those local ties there?
Yeah, it's huge. I mean, we're right here in our backyard. I mean, you got players that can play at this level, and they're right there. I mean, you want those guys to be a part of what you're doing. And I think for them too, it's not just about us. I mean, think about that opportunity for them, to play for a program like Auburn that's just down the road. I mean, it means something. Family, friends, you're going to have that support. And, I think there's a lot to be said for that. And I think there's a lot to be said for, all five guys in Alabama that get a chance to be a part of Auburn. We got great players in the state, great players in this state. And it's important that, we build those relationships, we connect. And when we find the right fit, I want every player in this state to feel like Auburn is a destination that they want to be. And, they'll have to make decisions and they're going to have other opportunities. But when you start to think about that, just being right here in the state of Alabama and having a place like Auburn to go spend the next 3-4 years of your life and to have a career as a football player, as a student athlete, and to be a part of that program and be linked to that right there in your home state. I mean, to me, that's an opportunity and an advantage for those guys. And certainly that's where it starts for us. And I'm excited about that. I'm excited about the future that we can build off of this group of players that are here. They're all going to play well. They're all going to come in here and do great things for Auburn, which will inspire and motivate other players in this state to want to be a part of it as well. And I think that's a factor. But right down the road and to be there at Auburn High and to have the type of players that we got out of there. I mean, I know their coaching staff. They do a great job. And so, we know we're getting, two great players to come here and be a part of our program.
Martin Murphy.
Yeah, Coach, could you talk about Holden at quarterback, what you liked about him and how important it was to get a quarterback in this class? And is he the only quarterback you want to sign for 2022?
Yeah, well, that remains to be seen. And, obviously things have changed in that room. But as far as Holden goes, here's what I've seen from Holden this entire year. First of all, he played his best game in the state championship and won it. But go all the way back to when he committed to us and chose Auburn as a school of choice. All he's done from that point on has gotten better. Every single game, every time I've seen him, he's just been on this steady climb of just improving, getting better, and you can see it. Not just physically. Physically, he's gotten better. His understanding of the game has improved. His leadership has gotten better. He's had a chance to come to multiple games and be in this environment and watch our team play. I think he's got a presence about him. He's got a wonderful family. And, I think there's a strong relationship there and a lot of trust. He's just been continually improving. And I can say that about every guy on this list. Every guy that we've recruited, as you watched them, they've gotten better. They've improved, as far as just the relationship, it's grown. And every one of these guys back behind me, I can tell you one thing, they're all determined. And that's the best thing as you have conversations with them and you dive into, more about, hey, what are some of the things that are important to you? What are things that you want to accomplish? I really enjoyed those conversations because I get to hear the things that they want to achieve, and I love it. I know we got players that have big goals and dreams and are willing to work for it. So as we talk about, here's the things that we want to accomplish, you want to accomplish. We also know they're going to go work for it. And every single guy like Holden that's part of this class right now has that. And I can't wait to get the 8 guys here, the early enrollees, to help keep developing the other guys that are going to be a part of this, and they're going to show up ready. And we're going to have a great group of players that are now going to be the future of Auburn football.
Coach, the last question today comes from Bennett Durando.
Hey, Bryan, with guys like Gilbert and then Keontae Scott, I'm just sort of curious how y'all as a staff sort of look at and value going the JUCO route in recruiting, and just sort of the importance of getting some of those guys who can bring in that experience.
Yeah, well, there's definitely that. It's a little higher level of competition. And it still goes back to, I'll say it again, just the right fit. It goes back to, obviously, you recognize their talent. You watch them play. They're good football players. And then as you get to know them, it goes back to the fit. And each one of those guys, that was the most important thing. They've been at successful programs in junior college. They've worked very hard to put themselves in a position to be at a place like Auburn. So no different than our high school players. No different than, if we bring in a transfer. You still want to know those things. And, at the end of the day, that's what you're looking for, because that locker room is important. And, the guys that are in it, and how we leave that locker room and head to a meeting room, how we walk onto practice or get out there to practice, all those things matter. And so that was no different for Keontae, no different for Marquise. And those guys, I think there's a level of maturity as well. They've been through it. They've had a chance to experience high school and junior college, and now it's a chance to come in here and play in the SEC West and be a part of our program, and come in here and contribute and have an opportunity to go out there and play for us. So both those guys have been fantastic. The families are great, and we're looking forward to getting them here.
All right, Coach. Thank you very much for your time.
Okay, thank you.